So 2 of Liquid Exploration. We got some new beers. I had 2 other beers that Jason told me to go get for homework, and then I drank that homework. So then I had to go get 2 more beers today. It doesn't make me an alcoholic because I get it, but based off of when we're posting these things, yeah, I mean, I can open mine. I got left hand. I got 2 left hands. Raspberry milk stout, which this one's open, but I feel like I'm missing out on that whole like cracking open the beer. So I'm gonna open this
there you
one.
go.
I'm on a race to
just
now finish the milk stout.
That sound alone just sounds good every time.
It does. It does. I love the opening. I bought left-handed literally because I'm left-handed. I think I haven't had left-handed in a while. The milk stout, raspberry milk stout, sounded really good. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that. They are out in Longmont, which is what it says on the front of the can. Thankfully, I don't have to go searching for it like the other one, which I think we found out. What was the
Good River?
The Good River Company is out in Denver. Is that what we found out, right?
Yeah, I think they said their production line's out there, but I don't know where they're actually out of.
And then that was a hazy IPA, which was really good. I've gotten really into the hazy IPAs, which I think we touched on a little bit on the last episode. And then the other one I bought was Tivoli, which is apparently Denver's oldest or Colorado's oldest brewery. That one was Cheese My Cherry Pie. It wasn't too bad. I get it's hard to really get the flavors to come out in beer. I've been told by other people that actually brew beer consistently that you just got to put a ton of flavor into these things to actually get it to come out, which is crazy about that beer I had last episode, the Rubble. They must just pour sugar and all kinds of stuff into it just because that thing is crazy flavorful.
Well, what'd you say last time? It was like your Fruity Pebbles, right? So
yeah, it's like drinking like Fruity Pebbles. It's so good, but they must which is, I think the pack is like $12 for a 4-pack or something. So that's probably why. And the other one I got Death Before Disco. It's a porter. Oh, there we go. No, that still sucks too. There it is. Not bad. I like porters. I mean, I've started from Heineken's to Blue Moons to now liking actual real beer. So I try to try whatever I can. Well,
so speaking of like making beer, so I made it was a stout with pumpkin, and we made it for Halloween, like, I don't know, made it a while back. So I made this beer, put it in my carboy or my bucket, have it bubbling out, blowing air and just sitting there fermenting, going through the process for like 5 days or whatever. Well, I set it on my hardwood floor, and I don't know what happened. I come back like 5 days later. I go to pick up the bucket, and it's completely empty.
What?
All of the beer, dude, drained out into my hardwood floors in my living room.
Oh my God.
Luckily, like, our hardwood floors were like these bamboo. So bamboo like just absorbs everything. And like after that was like the nicest looking part of my whole floor was that like area where all that beer just like dripped out all over. Man, I was so worried. I'm like, dude, this is gonna ruin everything. And no, just polished it up all nicely. But I like pumpkin beer.
Of what beer does to people, that's for sure. It does not polish it. It makes people look polished from the other side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody looks good after a few and after the end of the evening, right?
Yeah. Clearly your bamboo flooring was feeling good though.
So I pulled up on Outer Range. They're out of Frisco. They've been around, I think, since like 2016, something like that, which is cool because like at the time we were going up there a lot, and all of a sudden I just like drove by like one of the little like snowboard shops up there. And next thing I know, there's like a brewery. I was like, what the hell is this? I didn't like their beers either, like when they first opened, because they were like all hazy IPAs. And at that time, it's like when they were transitioning to like a bunch of hazies out there,
Right.
Everybody loved their stuff. It took me like a while, like a year or two to get into like some of their beers. But yeah, this one is the 2-pound tent, the double IPA. It's pretty tasty. Luckily, our really good liquor store that we go to supplies a lot of their stuff. They're getting like shipments every week, bunch of different stuff in.
They must be. I mean, they were pretty. I went today to go pick up these left hand. I saw a couple other ones that I wanted, but I went for something that I knew but that I hadn't tried yet. But they were getting a little low on their supply on that right side of the fridge. That's where all the nice stuff sits, on that right side of at the back.
We got to go in the back. That's where all the good stuff sits.
I was looking back there too. Thought about it. I was in a pinch. I was super hungry. I just wanted to grab some beer and then get back home. I needed to eat.
What are you, like, running from COVID or what? Like,
yeah, I don't want to be out there too long. Who knows? Was
it already snowing?
No, it hadn't snowed yet. It looked like it was getting ready to. I mean, this was probably, I don't know, 2:00.
Okay.
It was earlier today.
Not a lot of snow, but it started to come down here at like 4, so we'll see what happens. But any other beers that you've had there in the holidays? Anything special, seasonal, or anything?
What did I have? I had Strawberry Sky from Breckenridge for Christmas, and then Catherine and I made Moscow Mules, but we did cranberry in it. It was like cranberry, the ginger beer, was it vodka, right? Pretty sure that's what we bought. And then something else. And I bought glasses for it. I was trying to find real Moscow Mule glasses. I could not, because, every single one I found was like, it's, copper sprayed on the outside, tin on the inside.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, we shouldn't get glasses unless they're like really, truly copper ones. And I didn't feel like spending that much money. So I bought these other ones. They look cool in the picture, and then when I pulled them out of the box, it was like something you'd find in your grandma's cupboard. It was like 1970s, but it fits. Like it actually looked really. It had like the etched. I wish I had one with me. Obviously, it's at the other place, so it's got this etching, straight up and down etching, and then 3 circles around it at the bottom. I don't know. It looked like something out of the 70s.
Nice.
But
did they work well?
Yeah, I mean, they're 15 ounces.
There you go.
I got drunk, so that's all that mattered. I could put enough alcohol in it.
Right. Well, the good thing about cups is they just refill them. Put more in it. More in it. Call it
more in it. No, that's lightly. I mean, that's what I had. I think we had some champagne for New Year's Eve. She had to work, so we went to bed at like 10. I didn't stay that long either. Well, that's about it. I haven't really been much drinking. I mean, I've been trying to go to the gym, trying to lose weight. We were writing out our year thing that we want to do this year. I think we're each going to try to read 21 books. I'm trying to lose 20 pounds, and we each want to go up in our squats and benches and deadlift.
Nice.
Things like that. So, I mean, today hasn't been good. If I'm being honest, there is a whole thing of cheesecake in my fridge right now. Which is missing 3 slices. I bought these, shout out to Captain Crunch to make me spend more money rather than just getting any box of cereal and putting it in a Ziploc bag. I bought that instead. Snack bags. It's just like to charge you extra money, That's all it was.
Well, I'll tell you this. I have not been watching what I've been eating. We went on a bender. I made all sorts of good things, man. We, so for New Year's, we went backpacking into like a hut. So we had so many things. I had to actually pull a sled in behind me just to like pack I think between like 6 adults, we brought, 2 handles of bourbon. I think like each one of us brought like 5 or 6 beers, so it was just, it was a mess. We had some party. It was really fun. We were just there for like 2 nights. And then, for Christmas, I had some family coming in town, so I made eggnog. And let me tell you, I don't know if you've like had eggnog or you've ever tried to make it.
The real one. I've never had the real one with alcohol. I mean, I've only gotten from the store, and even then, it's my mom and dad would get it, and after the first carton, I know myself and the rest of my siblings, we'd all be done with it. We wouldn't even want it. It's just so thick and sweet, and it was just too much So we bought some this year, but a small carton because Catherine was the same way, where she's like, I only want this, and that's it. And it took us forever to finish it. But I've never had the real alcohol one.
Yeah, I made like, I don't know, 2 gallons or something like that of it, and it was like, go to the store, buy all these things, right? Milk and cream and sugar, bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have enough bourbon. I come home, I like totally like botch the recipe. So I'm like grabbing good bottles of bourbon out of my cupboard and like tossing them in there just because I didn't want to go back out. And like, you make like a meringue, and you make a whipped cream, you know, and you're like folding all this stuff together. Dude, it's a process, man. But it was fun. Like, so that's like part of like making beer, you know, like I enjoy the process and like the what is it, the labor of love, you know. So same thing with like the eggnog. It was a pain and tedious, but it was fun though. I had a good time. And then we like gave it to one of our friends up here, and like my mom and, you know, my in-laws loved it. And it was like, I tasted it every day because the recipe that I had was like, try it like every day, but don't drink it until like 2 weeks. So I was like, all right, every day. I was like, man, this is good. This is better. This is better than yesterday. It just like, it was
just kept getting better.
Yeah. So I still have a little bit in my refrigerator. So I'm like sort of nervous now because I think it's about a month old.
Oh man.
But I might try it maybe tomorrow or something. I'll try to bust into that. So, but you know, I think you and I've had this conversation before. It's like, I can't give up drinking beer. So I either got to like offset the food or like increase my exercise to,
I know, I gotta,
you know, like do one or the other. So, and I do cut back on beer during the week because it's like, I can't drink, you know, a bunch of beers every single day. I'd be like as big as a screen right now.
Yeah, I know. I've been cutting back. I mean, my cardio has been lacking severely. We just do, you know, straight up powerlifting when we go in. And she hates cardio, and I let her hatred for it allow me to just walk out. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We haven't even done abs in a while. So I don't think I told you, we were doing sit-ups on like the decline bench.
Yeah.
And I was doing it with a 25-pound, and when I finished and I put the 25-pound up where like your feet hook in, and I let go with this, with this arm here, and I was just holding it like this, and the bench shook a little bit and it twisted down, and I could hear everything just crack in here, and it tore something. I mean, that was like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and it's just now finally starting to feel pretty good, where like I could only sleep on my back. I couldn't sleep on my side because it would it would hurt all the time. Now I have to keep this shoulder warm at all times. I've noticed that when it's super cold at night, this thing starts hurting like crazy. So now I'm like already 50 years older than I need to be, where my joints are hurting because of cold. It was pretty excruciating. It's getting better now, and my everything I can do is starting to get back to normal. But I really like doing the ab roller with the little wheel. I couldn't do that because I couldn't support it. I couldn't do planks or anything like that. I mean, it was pretty crappy. So
isn't this like a hard balance? Like, we're talking about beer and like working out. Isn't that like one of the hardest balances like throughout our day? It's like, all right, I just want to go home, chill out, relax, have a beer. But then like I've been doing, you know, we talked about this, like I track all my food.
Yeah.
And so next thing you know, like you're putting in 2 beers and you're just like, damn it, now I can't have like anything else. Or
that's
like,
what I
throws off your food so bad, you know?
All right, I gained back the weight, almost all the weight pretty much that I lost. But I feel like I've looked at pictures where I was 195 and my face was a lot fatter now. Even I'm 185 right now. I went down to 155, but when I went from 195 to 155, I was doing the same thing. I remember having a conversation with my sister, and she's like, "What if I want to go drink?" I was like, "I know, I do the same thing." Like you just said, it's like, oh, I had to consciously make a decision. Like if usually it was with you or whatever, if we're going out to get a beer, I'm like, that's, you know, at least what, 200 to 300 calories, depending on where we're going, or if it's in a can or whatever. And then I have to go, okay, now I have to sacrifice some protein or carbs or whatever that I needed and it's going to be transferred into this beer, which is delicious. I mean, it's not like it's a bad trade, but
well, and that's what's sort of nice about like what our channel is going to be, is our channel is not going to be just about boozing and talking about brewing and all that stuff. So as we get going, like our channel, if you guys didn't pick this up last time, but our channel is like pretty much just based on like going out, talking to community members, talking about beer. We're going to get into like bourbon, go to distilleries, talk with the distilleries on like how they distill it, concepted it, and brought it to fruition, and like how they present it to like the to actually the people in the community, and like how the community like sort of interacts with them. So we're going to have like this sort of like banter with the breweries or the distillers, or and I like hockey, you probably got that from last time, so we're going to talk about all that. But then also like we'll talk to the patrons of those places and bring them into it. And so we're not going to be on here every week drinking beers only, but you'll start seeing a little bit more content coming up, hopefully in the next like week or two. But that's sort of where we're at, and so we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. Like we're talking about Brian being fat and losing weight,
so we gotta lose 20 pounds. I mean, I think 165 will be good. I'm getting like, there's a gut. I'm back up to all my weight of what I bench, squat, deadlift. That's pretty much where it was, where I left off. And I don't have my sciatic nerve killing me, but man, I'm going fat. But the cheesecake is so good.
You said 185. I'm 195 right now.
You're 195?
Yeah.
And I'm 5'6", and you're what?
6 feet.
Yeah, that's not great. You need to be 185.
You'll get there. You're healthy.
Yeah,
though.
I just gotta. It's been bad. I have not been a very good vegan. Obviously, there's cheesecake in my fridge, but I don't know if any vegans watching, if they've had vegan cheesecake. It tastes like asshole, so I'm not gonna eat that.
Is it vegan cheesecake or is it another name?
It's vegan cheesecake.
Really cheesecake? Does it have
blended,
cheese
it's
in it?
blended cashews and sugar.
Yeah, it's vegan nut cake. Vegan nut cake.
Vegan nut cake, yeah. Well, it's like almond milk. No one wants almond juice. Nut juice.
Nut juice.
Almond milk.
I don't know. I like oat milk.
I've been hooked on that lately. I've been using that with my protein shakes.
Yeah, it's really.
And that's
good.
the only time I have coffee. Catherine was asking about French presses, and she's like, "I want one." I'm like, "They can't be that expensive." She's like, "I'm sure they are." I'm like, "No, it's coffee. Who gives a shit? It shouldn't be that expensive."
No, you can get some like cheaper ones, but you can get some pretty pricey ones, just depending on what you're looking for. All right, so I went through my outer range already, so I'm gonna talk about my favorite beer ever.
To Melvin for some reason.
This way. No, not for some reason. So a few years ago, my buddy and I, we went to Jackson Hole, and we're going out there to go boarding, and we just like looking up breweries. Pretty much like when we got there, it was a little later. It was like 8 o'clock or so, and there was just like one brewery popped up, and then this Thai place. It's like, what the hell is this Thai place? Like, let's go Thai. That actually sounds really, really good. So we go down there, and it's Tie Me Up, I think it was. Tie Me Up Thai. And it's this little elephant sitting on a rock.
Uh-huh.
And we go in there, and dude, like the food was amazing. But anyways, that's where sort of like Melvin was concepted. And then like, I don't know if you could see it, but see that little elephant right there?
Oh yeah, sitting on the little ball.
Yeah, that's sort of like, that was their logo. And at the time we didn't realize that they was sort of like, both of their they owned both of them. So anyways, we had a hell of a night there, met a bunch of locals, had a really good time. Jackson was amazing. If you guys get out there, if you haven't gone, go. If you go, have fun, man. It's just amazing.
I know a bunch of billionaires that own homes out there, and they go hang out there, but
it's just, I mean, like they got a good local vibe. They got a good big vibe. So like even like the rich people are really like down to earth. From the people that I met, a lot of locals are really down to earth. It was just really cool. But anyways, they've expanded since. I think they're not in Jackson. They're in like Alpine, I think, is where they manufacture everything. And now they've opened up like a few different locations. But anyways, this is like my favorite beer. This one's the 2x4. It's another double IPA, 9.9%.
9.9. Yeah, I haven't actually. That's the bad thing. I haven't looked at what I buy, like the percentage lately.
So this is, I think, for a 4-pack you can get from them on these ones.
This
it's
milk
like
stouts.
$13 a 4-pack.
Rocky Mountain Waters in this one. 5.7% volume on this milk stout.
What did they do on that one? Did they pour like Coors Light into it for your Rocky Mountain water and then like make it and it comes up with like...
They filtered out all the deer piss first and then malted barley, lactose.
So I don't know if you've had any Melvin, but Melvin, they have like, I like all their stuff. What's funny about this beer is I just noticed this, like, has a, they must have like over manufactured this beer or something like this. So they have like a sticker over this beer. But this beer right here is good though too. Like this Melvin, the Hop Shocker, is actually really good too.
I was going to ask if that was a different beer. So I think they did the same thing with this left hand. They put the shrink wrap on it, but I can see another label behind it.
You know what I bet they're doing? Is I bet with the Rona, they're short on cans.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everybody's an alcoholic now with Rona, you know, so they probably can't keep up.
Yeah, they finally caught up to the rest of us who already were. And well, at least I was. I'm an alcoholic waiting to happen, I think, is the issue. Like, as long as I don't touch it.
If you weren't self-conscious, you would be like a full-fledged or what?
Well, if it was always that, like, there's something about, I don't know. I don't understand the true, like, brain of an alcoholic. I'm sure I will probably get hate mail at some point in my life. Be like, you don't fucking understand. I don't, but I come from a long line of them. So at least I know they exist. I don't think there's that constant want for beer, but as soon as I have it, like it can be a slippery slope. That's why I stick to beer though, because it fills me up and then I stop. If it was liquor, who knows?
Oh, come over, dude. We got some bourbons that we could get going. Pull you up on the floor back here. You can just stay the night.
We've had some nights like that. I think it's my brain. I'm not a party animal by any means, but my brain has that mentality. As soon as it gets a buzz, I can just have a buzz, and it's like, how do we keep this going? Let's make sure it does not stop.
Well, that's like, so like, you know, you're introverted, extroverted, all that stuff. Like I am an extrovert. Like, so when I start drinking, I want to hang out, I drink. Like I just want to drink to have fun. But like I can like go like, you know, I go weeks and stuff sometimes without having a beer or any type of drink. So
if I drink too much, the issue with me is I sound like I was a running back from the NFL for 10 years and I've suffered too many concussions and I forget what I'm talking about halfway through my conversation.
I just forget, man. That's just the way it goes.
I always forget. Like I'm making this like solid point in my mind, and then like halfway through it, I'm like, I don't know anymore, and then I go drink more.
So you're doing 20 pounds, 20 bucks. Is that sort of like a modified version of like the 70 hard or 75 hard or whatever it is?
No, so I mean the 20 pounds is what I want to lose. I think that's when I went down to 151 was the lowest I was, and I was like 11% body fat. I think that was one of the issues, just being that excessive. It flared my back up. I think 165 should be a good weight. It's not going to be, I don't need to go back down to 11% body fat or try to get below that. I really wanted to get to like 10 or 9 and see what it looked like, but it's super hard. I think 165 should be good, especially at 5'6". I know I look a little stockier than you would think at someone my height. And then the 21 books is what Catherine wanted to do because it's 2021. She wanted to read. She read 20 last year. She wants to read 21 this year. So I said I would do it with her. And I need to read more anyways. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. Megan's been doing that too. She's like been on it, reading every day, you know, and so it's a hard thing to do. Like I mean, we read throughout the day, right? Everybody's reading different stuff. I read about a bunch of different news and sports and beers and restaurants and local, heck, I mean, half the jobs like we work on, we got to read and all that stuff. So I read a ton, but there's something to be said about checking out and just reading something that you enjoy.
Yeah, I've been, and that's the thing. I can't read, which I wish I would have known when I was younger, but maybe it's only just kind of started now. But I've been totally hooked on just reading things that I'm actually interested in and learning. I can't read, I have the Hunger Game books that I got a long time ago from a girl I was dating, but those are the last like fiction books I've read. I can't read those books anymore because I feel like I'm just wasting my time. I'd rather play video games. I get like people like to be transported to this different world. I'll do that with movies. I've been reading movie scripts on it's like IMDb, but it's movie scripts database. But lately it's been like fantasy football, fantasy baseball, daily stuff. The book I've been reading right now is written by Warren Buffett's Professor, the book that kind of launched Warren Buffett's whole career in the stock market and stuff like that. I just finished up reading a book from a man named Nassim Taleb, which he wrote like The Black Swan Effect and The Anti-Fragile. I don't know if you've heard any of those books. It's super interesting theories. And then I want to get into reading some game theory books too. So it's stuff that's what gets me hooked. And some of the autobiographies or biographies in general. I read Steve Jobs. That was really good. Learned that he just pretty much cried his entire career at Apple. That's all he do.
I thought he made people cry.
No, he cried too, apparently. He gets so upset about what he wasn't getting his way, and he would cry in meetings.
Yeah, I don't think it was, I mean, like the way I took that, I was like, he was just like passionate about, the things that he wanted to do. And he was such a visionary that he had these like big ideas that were like way ahead of the times. And like these engineers were like, we can't do that. And he would be like, why not? Like, I don't get it. Like, you should be able to do this, And so
I'm on an iPad right now, and I think he came up with this general idea in like the 80s. He wanted something like this and had this idea of how it should work, but it took forever to get to that point.
Right.
And he had the abandonment issues with his parents, and I don't know. There was a whole thing. He was a very interesting guy. It was very eye-opening to see how honest he was with the person that actually wrote it. And
did you see? So obviously, you know who Jeff Bezos is, and then his ex-wife, Mackenzie Bezos.
Yeah.
Did you see how much money she's donated in this past year alone? Like she donated so much money. It was like $2 billion, I think she's donated just this year alone.
And what does she got? Like $8 billion left on top of that?
No. She's worth, I think, like $75 billion, and so she gives away a few billion, and it's all good. But it's like when you have that much money, you're able to do so much good, and you don't hear about it enough, And so I'm glad that she was like out there, and I don't think she's the one that's putting it out there. People are just finally like reporting it back to her, but.
Right.
Like when you have that much money and you put it back into space, so that's a good thing. But then you hear Tesla, that dude was like the fastest recorded billionaire or fastest growth of billionaire status. That guy just, I think he eclipsed Jeff Bezos and the richest person in the world. So
they're showing a picture of him when he was in PayPal, and he had less hair than I do right now, and then all of a sudden he's got this like full head of hair. He's this great looking guy. They're like, yeah, all right, buddy. Like money definitely has changed your entire life around.
But I wonder if that dude's the same dude. Like I see people like interview Mark Cuban, before his like whole like millionaire like boom, and I'm like, that guy has not changed at all. So I wonder if like
I don't
Elon
think
Musk and Bezos, like what those people were like, beforehand.
I'm sure Jeff Bezos changed quite a lot, I feel like, because based off of what I heard, and I don't know for sure, but he sounded like a pretty simple guy that just wanted to sell books, and he created Amazon, and then it just kind of turned into this whole thing.
Right.
And he's turned into this billionaire, but I mean, he's made statements that he said, Amazon will be dead at some point. Somebody will bring us down and take over. Blah blah. I feel like what's his face with Tesla has probably always been the same. I think, based off of things I've heard from Top Gear about how much trouble they got in for slandering their cars, and they they did a whole episode where they had like lawyers behind Jeremy Clarkson, and they're like, no, you can't say that, you can't say this, and then he had to step out of the car, and he's like, this and this, it's a piece of crap, whatever.
Well,
He was
didn't they
saying,
censor it? He was like cussing up, beep,
yeah.
beep, beep, beep.
So it stemmed for this roadster, the first roadster that they made, and it died out in like 15 minutes, and Clarkson just torched it. He's like, it would be fun if it actually worked. So I think is essentially what he said. But I don't think no one would be Cuban sitting in the stands with fans as a team owner. Like bring every single billionaire and make them a team owner. I don't think any of them would be sitting in the stands with a white t-shirt. He looks like he belongs amongst the rest of them. He's not trying to like flash it up or anything or get on.
Well, he's like, when he first started, like he almost got in fights with other fans because they were talking crap. And he was just like, you don't talk crap about my team. They're the best team ever. Like he literally like felt that, like this is the best team. You don't talk like crap about them. And like would almost like, get into these like big confrontations, and so, I mean, the guy's just like really passionate. Shark Tank, I haven't watched too much Shark Tank with him, but like I've heard people like just, they love him on there, so.
They do. I love him because he's the shark of sharks. Like the sharks will throw out their offers, and then he sharks their offers where they're like, I'll give you this, this, and this. And he's like, oh, I'll do like, he does like a Price is Right where it's like $1,001. How about that? And they're like, yes, because most of the people that go on the show probably want to invest with or want to work with Mark Cuban. I mean, they'll take what they can get, but it's probably Mark Cuban that they're going after. And he also blasts anyone that seems like they're selling just complete fraud of a product. He has no issue of just opening his mouth and just telling them, you need to get off the show. You're only here to get, to get exposure. You don't even care about our money. You're really just like trying to get your 15 minutes of fame. You need to leave. You're a snake's oil salesman, essentially. So I like him. I think he's a pretty down to earth guy. I'm sure, I'm sure you can't be a billionaire without doing something weird, but as far as I've seen with other billionaires that have been in the media and saying stuff, he's one of my favorite.
Yeah. All right, well, cool. Let's sort of wrap this up. And I think so this weekend I'm going to go out to Salida.
I haven't been out there yet.
I'm going to hit up Elevation. I'm going to hit up Tres Litros Brewing. So these are some local people that are sort of out in the middle of our state that I think would be a good one. So I'm going to talk to them sort of about bringing them on board and sort of see where we can go with that. And I don't, no promises here, people, but we'll try to do our best to bring you.
I think it'll be a few of these episodes, and then hopefully we'll have the rest of the logistics hammered out and how we can get this to work with COVID being in existence, whether it's possibly being in the bar or just trying to do something on Zoom, maybe drinking their beer. If you're in Colorado, I think it would be fun if you go and get their beer too, drink along with us, and we can kind of all get an idea of how their beer tastes together.
Yeah, we'll post it on our social media. So we're on Facebook and Instagram, and once we lock them down, we'll post what we're drinking and when it's going to air. And so if you guys wanted to grab something, then you guys could just jump along with us. A lot of the stuff that we're going to be drinking is sold at a few of the local liquor stores, and we'll let you guys know where those are.
Yeah.
Once we get those all locked down. But other than that, guys, you guys have a good night. Brian.
Yeah.
Good night, man.
It's fun drinking with you virtually. I gotta find out what's under this label. I can see it. Crazy Limited.
Why don't you figure that out and then give us an update on the next episode?
I can see it right through the left hand. Are you recording right now?
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me give me a 5 count.
1.
All right. Oh, Jesus. Are we recording right now?
Yeah, we're recording.
All right. Episode 2 of Liquid Exploration.